So hello everyone, thanks for joining the channel. Today we're going to talk something important about financial crisis. In this conversation, we have Mr. Siva on board. We're going to talk about how financial crisis affects one's mental well-being. So moving forward, what we're going to do in this channel is we're going to talk about issues that's affecting general Malaysians, general problems in the world, and how it affects mental wellness of a person. So this platform is about sharing our ideas, our thoughts, our suggestions. It's not a medical advice, it's not a professional advice. So if you have any personal issues or any health related issues that we are talking about, and if you need certain clarification, please seek professional help, professional guidance. They can be a better source. So you can use this conversation, ideas from here, to explore more on the issue. Anything on that?
Yeah, I'm excited to be here with Dr. Anand. It's an amazing person whereby we are having this conversation in a sense where I think from personal side that what we have experienced and with the people that we've been interacting with on their own challenges and all that, and financial downturn, or currently the ringgit is plummeting, I guess. I don't know where it is now because I don't follow the trend, but I think it's bad because I used to joke with my brother if he's in Singapore. So I always tell him, if I want to come and visit you, I have to think 3.5 times. So I think that's how it is. I think that it was once around 1.2, now it's 3.5. I think it is, although it's a joke when I tell him, but deep inside it is actually a fact. Yeah. So I'm super excited to be here. To have this conversation. I guess we'll be having many conversations regarding mental health on issues that is actually coming up now. And thank you for initiating this, Doctor.
So for a start, let's get the foundation. So the foundation is ringgit. I think we all know ringgit has been depreciating steadily. Actually, it's nothing new, not a sudden thing. It has been there, but suddenly it is being talked about by many people, including politicians, simply because the impact is quite obvious now. But the sliding has started much longer. So people have been suffering much longer at individual level. It's just that no one speaks about it. Why is it important? Because it translates to a lot of different things. It translates, when the ringgit depreciates, it translates to a bigger picture of economic slowdown. But let's look at individual level, how it affects individual level. So from a personal level, from me, when the ringgit slows down, first thing comes to my mind is savings. So whatever we have saved may not be enough. So that creates certain uncertainty, certain fear. So imagine every day you're worried of your savings. So that that creates friction within ourselves, uncomfortable feeling. But I'm sure it affects a lot of people in different ways. So let's start with a question. What do you think? Is there a relationship between economic crisis in a bigger scale with a person's mental well-being?
Definitely, because I think when it comes to money, we are all related to it. We cannot run away from it, because I think that is something which is very much needed, because it gives us the livelihood. And that is something a lot of us are actually striving for, money. That's why there's employability, people who are having a job, jobless, and that's another market, employment itself. So money, we cannot run away. We have to be either friends or foe with it. I think for the current time, I think it is becoming a foe, because a lot of people are finding it difficult. Because out there, when we have a conversation, when I have a conversation, some are actually feeling it. Many are feeling it. Otherwise, it won't be trending, right? A lot of people are talking about. I think one of the things we won't be talking is that on the economics of the money, because that is not our field at all. It's more on the impact. The impact is real. People, like what I told you, Doctor, when I tell my brother, although it's a joke, but it's a fact. It's 3.5 times, because it is like that over there. And when you really look at it, there are a lot of people brain drain that are still going to Singapore also. And many people actually are losing good talents and going there. Why? Because it's money. So yeah, money does impact. those who are here looking over there, not only Singapore, many places, these things are happening. But that doesn't mean the grass the other side is always greener, because when you're there, you have to mow the grass also. The grass grows.
True.
So it is a real thing. It is affecting. That's my thought.
How does it affect psychological level, individually?
I think money, whatever crisis, I think it's about certainty. If I'm certain that I'll be getting my pay, if I'm certain that I will have my money to pay my loans, if I'm certain about everything, I think we have some peace. Here, I think it's the uncertainty. The uncertainty of will the company will still hire me? Will this global gloom will prolong? And people are also talking about economic recession. I don't know about all that stuff, right? But it is true, I guess, because it is happening. It shows in the trend. So with all uncertainty, I guess it brings together what you call fear of not knowing, which leads to depressions, anxiety, and spectrum of things, which you know very well when you're working in the part of the subconscious side, which is closely related to whatever that's happening. And people who come and see you or me, they have difficulty. So this is something I see, that's the whole thing. Because they are not certain, it boils down to some psychological impact like anxiety or depression of not doing what am I supposed to do, or anxiety of don't know what is going to come, whether I'll have it or not. So these are the things. So it does affect. Yeah.
But you see, when you say uncertainty, if I go to a shop and because of the ringgit has gone down, economic a bit slow down, so things are more expensive.
Yeah.
So it creates uncertainty of jobs placement or your job itself.
Yeah.
That's future.
Yeah.
But if I go to the shop right now, things are expensive. I want to go to overseas for traveling, for holiday, it's also expensive.
Yeah.
So it's happening as I purchase, so it's in the now.
Yeah.
That's not, what would you call that? Uncertainty is about future.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, because years ago when you have like 50 bucks, you go to a shop, you'll have your trolley filled to a certain level. Now if you go with 50 bucks, you might be thinking, should I go in or not, right? So that shows the prices are shooting up. Well, let's not talk about just economic. This one, SST has been introduced, and things are actually going up, whether you like it or not. So all these are actually involved in the economy of an individual, which is affecting. So I think definitely, definitely it's affecting people's mental hygiene, because it is basically, if I'm going to just go in and in the now, I know I only have this much, should I go and shop or not?
Yeah.
So just imagine the uncertainty with this 50 ringgit, what can I buy? Going to eat in a shop, will I have enough money to pay the bill?
Yeah.
And keeping my away from having some good food. Now I need to wait for if there's any food being subsidized.
Yeah.
And all that thing, because, and what impact will it give when it comes to I don't have good nutritional food to eat to my body. So my question to you also, doctor, how does it affect deeply inside? On the mental, on the inner level, how is it actually impacting? Because this thing is happening repeatedly.
I think how it affects a person, I divide it into two segments. If a person is going through this financial crisis, it's going to affect himself, one component, and it's going to affect the people around him, the second component. So there are two components to look at here. The person will be thinking about the future of his children's education. So it impacts the education, planning for the children's education, children's well-being. So it impacts that. Impacts for the family in terms of stress among family members, because relationship may be strained because of financial difficulties, and that can be translated to children being affected because they may not get certain opportunities, and something simple as I cannot afford to send my kids to certain programs can be significant impact in 10 years down the line. So that's bigger picture that surrounds him or her. So that person be thinking about all this fear that he cannot fulfill for his family. One. Two, relationship at work. Because now he has to perform more for less. Not only that, he has to make sure his job is secured. And in order to make sure his job is secured, he has to do maybe spend more time in workplace, or maybe he has to do more things with outside his job scope. So that causes strain at work, stress at work. So his ability to think, his ability to handle stress may be stretched as compared to what is happening 10 years ago. Because now the job scope has increased, and he has to increase that job scope simply because to be competitive.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, he'll be not needed anymore at the workplace. And maybe because the business are going down, slow down, so they have to work more but pay less.
Absolutely.
So that also translates to less time at home, less interaction with kids. So that's the outer picture. But individually, how it affects him, the person, I think it affects in the sense of person will develop certain coping strategies, certain belief systems. So coping strategy, for example, now I have to work more in order to impress my superiors. And why do I need to impress my superiors? Because my job is at stake. And I have to be more competitive compared to the new recruits, for example. So stress builds up. So as a competitive mechanism, maybe he or she will develop a system saying that, okay, so now I have to bear with this. So if I can bear with this, others should also bear with this. So that may be one of the systems that he develops, he or she develops. And then he may carry this to the family. So that he may say, if I can bear this, a program runs inside, and say, if I can go through this, you must go through this. So that translates to strain in relationship between husband and wife, or with children. Communication with children will be affected differently. Because children are mostly they are insulated from this pressure, economic pressure. So they are in an innocent chamber, innocent vacuum. They don't see these challenges. So when we go through these challenges, as parents, sometimes it spills over to them, and they're not sure what's happening, and they will develop their own belief system based on what they observe. So it's a chain reaction.
Okay.
So how it affects individually, I think the key word here is stress. Anxiety translates to stress, or stress translates to anxiety. So basically it's stress factor. And a temporary stress is good because it makes person productive. So you want to, all right, it's a situation here, economic downturn here, what can I do to make things better? So it's a good stress. But the person doesn't have that cognitive ability. The person is stuck in a system, constant stress, and is trying to get out of the stress, and he's trying to work things out to get out from the stress instead of working along with the stress or the situation. Now his program is, what should I do to come out of this? So his body is tuned to the stress. So he has a mental image of stress, and the body is hardwired to stress. So now going to work, it's no more like meeting a tiger. It's like meeting your colleagues, your bosses. The stress is constantly there.
Wow.
So his body is tuned.
The tiger shows up often now.
Every day he's fighting. He's in a war zone every day.
Wow.
So economic may change, may get things better. Things may get better slowly. But if he does not change, the person does not change, the person is stuck to the past. Economy, we all know, changes over time. Things do get better. And even if things don't get better, we as human beings, I think we can do something about it. But if we choose not to do, and we are stuck to the past, then we are stuck in a loop of negativity within ourselves. So our hormones, our chemicals, be secreting negativity, and I think that's where people get sick. So you get non-communicable diseases. You get obesity, you get hypertension, you get diabetes, stress-related illnesses, which is something that we brought it on us.
True. Well, just want to ask you another one, Doctor. Gabo Mate, he's actually a doctor. He speaks about this in his book called The Myth of Normal. He says it's just like that, if someone doesn't get, like, people need to adapt and move on. But normally it doesn't happen. So if the analogy that he gives is exciting. It's just like when it's winter, you'll wear wool to keep you warm. Now you keep wearing it, and now it's summer, but you're not taking it out.
Correct.
So what we are doing is that in summer we are still wearing wool and telling it's so warm, you're walking around. But that's a challenge of being human. I guess we don't know when to take it off.
Correct.
And when to put it on. I think that comes with, I don't know, comes with training, or how does it work?
It comes with conditioning.
Conditioning.
Because we have been conditioned to stress. As animal, we need stress to be safe.
Yeah.
So we are conditioned to negativity. We are conditioned to anything that can harm us.
Yeah.
So that when we are exposed to similar threat, we can respond faster. So hence the code is always on.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that you're always safe.
Yeah. So we are always lagging.
We're always lagging.
Lagging big time. We don't adapt immediately.
That's where a person needs to be aware of the situation, aware of the environment. If a person has more awareness, then you can know, things are changing, so I need to change.
Awareness is key.
Awareness is the key. And most of us are living not aware of things. So here, awareness does not mean being awake or not awake. Awareness here means that you're more sensitive to the changes around us, around the environment.
Cool.
So economic crisis has always been there for years. 50 years ago, 40 years ago, it's going to be there all the time. It's just that things have to change around us. So when things changes, we have to change accordingly.
Because some are coping well.
Some are coping well.
Many are not.
So people always say, in times of crisis, is the best time for opportunity. So opportunity arises in time of crisis. So if there is a financial crisis, there is economic crisis. So there must be some opportunity somewhere.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of looking at the opportunity from a different lens.
Absolutely.
Instead of looking from a lens of stress, anxiety, things are limited. Yeah.
It's interesting. I just give you some statistics on the loss that is taking place. Okay, this is a report on the economic cost of mental disorder in Malaysia by Dr. Chua Suk Ning that was published in Lancet Psychiatry in 2020. Found that mental health condition in workplace cost Malaysian economy an estimated 14.46 billion ringgit in 2018. And exactly like what you said, it's all these many things that is coming and playing, it's interesting. I had a conversation with someone who actually manages crew on board of a ship. So we were talking about our programs and all that. I said everyone need to be present when we are doing the Zoom session. And what she said was everyone will be present. Then my question was, I know they'll be present, but are they actually mentally present there? Cannot answer. So just imagine how many of people out there who are actually there, but they're not there.
Yeah.
And it's actually losing. From here, it shows 14.46 billion on so many. It includes, not turning up to work and productivity drop. So many things that's happening. So it's real. It's real. And just imagine how much the employees actually paying. There was another study which I saw. Basically, I think around 23 to 28% of a day is actually goes wasted in us trying to orientate ourselves back to what we do, because we get distracted. We go there, and then by the time we get orientated back, it takes time. So we lose around 23 to 28% of a day. So just imagine none of the people get 28% reduction in their salary.
Yeah.
So all these things actually happening, and that's why I always feel that it's good that employees still pay you full amount for all the distraction that's taking place. That's one way of looking at it.
Yeah.
Right?
See, when you say presence now, when things are going outside, circumstances, economy is downturn, financial crisis, the person is not present. The person is thinking of the future. Things are going to be worse. Things 10 years from now, 5 years from now, how it's going to be. So he's not present. And he keeps complaining, in the past, we didn't have this problem 10 years ago.
Yep.
So a person is never present in the time of crisis. So thinking about this, how do you think a person can make the changes at a conscious level? Thinking, um, now I need to do something. What would you advise him?
Yes, doctor. Just now we were talking about a lot of people are not aware, they're not conscious about things. Now, what can they do once they are aware of the situation they are in? Yeah, so a couple of things that they can actually do is they need to. There's a study that's being done. It was done during the time by this person by the name of Sweeney Rankin or something like that. And they collaborated with Central China Normal University in the Wuhan to study the impact of flow and mindfulness on long period of quarantine. So again, financial uncertainty, we don't know when it's going to end. If you know when it's going to end, then it's not a problem.
Correct.
So don't know how long it's going to be. It's a gloomy thing for some time. So what they did, they took actually more than 5,000 participants in Wuhan and other major cities in China affected by COVID-19 and completed an online survey where they assessed the length of their quarantine, their overall well-being during the past week, and any flow and mindfulness, a state of focusing one's awareness on the present moment and that they experienced during the same period. Now, this is the thing, when looking at the overall well-being, Sweeney and Rankin found that people in a lengthy quarantine who reported higher than average flow experiences were no worse off than people who had not yet quarantined. Now, therefore, engaging in the flow-inducing activities such as running, painting, and gardening may be a particularly effective way to protect against potentially deleterious effects of period of quarantine. So, what it says is that the question is, what can they do? So what they can do is that they can actually do a lot of things. First of all, in the financial thing, they need to find out where they are financially first.
Correct.
Okay, this is where I am, and then start looking at what are the leakages that they're having. This is being prudent. Okay, these are my leakages. I have unnecessary expenses I'm going. Maybe I need to first plug the hole before I start building anything. So I'm going to cut this off, cut that off. Certain subscription, you need to let it go and all that. And there's something, when people with this online shopping 10, 10, 11, 11, they need to be very careful, especially with the money, because people are just so addicted when it comes. And the media is superb. They just throw you with all these things and you want to buy. And majority of the time when you buy, you're just keeping it in the storehouse and not using it. So I use this. I've taught my kids to do the same thing, which is very powerful. It's called times 5 principle. So if something comes to you, you want to buy, you ask this question, okay, this is 100 ringgit, and then times it by 5. It's 500 ringgit. Will I buy now this product, this thing, let's say, for 500 ringgit right now?
Why 5? Not 10, not...
Okay, I'll come to it.
Oh, okay.
5 times. So, if the answer is, I won't be paying 500 for this, I don't buy. The reason is, 20 years down the road, that thing could be valued if the money that you can save of around 5 times. So the 100 ringgit that you're saving could be 500 ringgit in the future, because it's a saving that you have with you. If you let go into something that is useless, it's gone. So I think people need to be very prudent about whatever that they are doing. So that is something that we can do. And just like what we discussed, get into the flow activities, gets the mind off. I have this saying that I always say, success is inevitable, the secret is in the wait. Success is there. The question is, a lot of people are actually sulking and complaining, this and that, but there's also the other group of people who are actually creating options, and this is where they're actually looking at other things and getting life exciting, and then they're generating income. I think all that boils down to the chemical reaction in what's happening in themselves, right, doctor? So maybe over here you can just share, when they are happy and doing stuff, what are the things that is actually changing within them, doctor?
What I know is, neurochemically, when someone is happy, engaging in activity, there are many chemicals and hormones being flushed on the system. So main one will be dopamine. Then there's something called oxytocin, serotonin. All these are good hormones, chemicals in the brain. So when they fire, they actually rewires the brain, saying they associate to that event or activity to pleasantness, and I think that's where they feel more. I'm doing this, I feel good. So the brain registers that program. wanting them to do more of it. If I do more, I get more hormones, more chemicals. So it's a good positive feedback mechanism. So I think that's what happens to them. It's just that you cannot objectively measure that chemicals as it's happening. I mean, you're not in the lab, but as you're doing gardening, you can feel it. So it boils down to the feeling component. So if you can feel something, that shows you're moving to a better direction, better place. If you're feeling negative about something, then you should be aware that this is something not good. So awareness is the key in making things better.
Brilliant. So it's funny, right? When you're working on a difficult problem, you can't find the solution at that time. But when you're having a shower, or when you're having a tea, or some people go and smoke, boom, eureka moment. It happens. So we need to give it some time for it to. That's why the flow mechanism is done like that. They get into the flow at that time.
Correct. But the question is, like I was asking you earlier. See, now during economic crisis, okay, the person's job is at stake and he or she loses the job. And because of that, his family is going to suffer. There's a lot of implication, economic implication. So now he's in a terrible spot. And it's only fair for him to go through the stress, the anxiety, the depression, that whole emotional turmoil, because he has to look not for himself, but for in a bigger picture, his family, kids, survival. And if you were to talk about positive psychology to this group of people, at that point of time, it's just like talking philosophy to a hungry man. A hungry man just needs food. So now this person just needs to survive. And the body is wired for that. And the body, the chemicals are pumped up. What can he do to make things better?
That's an excellent question. It's good we had a cup of tea just now and this thing popped up also. This is amazing for us to share. I think it boils down to just like what Maslow talks about in the hierarchy. There's 5 needs all the way to self-actualization. The bottom one is basically it's on the survival part. If someone who's trying to survive and we are trying to give positive psychology to him, he will say whatever, and then we say, I need to survive, I don't have food, I need to eat. And not even here we are talking about you need to stay under a roof. But this guy doesn't care about that. So the solution is to go to their level and help them out at that level, what they need, because that is what will make them to ascend. So few months ago, I had this realization how Maslow's hierarchy is also connected to the chakras. Because if the person is operating from the bottom 3, he'll be more in the survival mode. So he's descending. So to ascend, we at positive psychology, we're trying to say, I'm from here, from heart level, I want you to understand this. They won't understand. I guess that's where compassion comes in. Where actually we go to their level, and if we can, we help them out, or we point them to the right direction. And for them to get that help that they need. Not where we are trying to be and trying to get the flood. So we always say pull someone up, right? But he can't, right? And you might sink down by doing it. Why don't you point them to the direction? So one of the things that I think important is to get help, speak to a friend that you can trust. If it's finance, talk to someone who knows about finance literacy and have a conversation about that. They might say, hey, you know what? If you're really struggling, maybe you go to AKPK or something, there's an agency, something. So why don't you go there and have a conversation with them? So the problem is a lot of them are not, number one, they're not aware. They're just drowning. Number 2, they're aware, but they don't know where to go because they're keeping it to themselves, because they don't want to share, because they're scared to be judged. I think over here, they need to express themselves out. And that's what Gabo Mate says. The biggest source of illness is suppression compared to expressing it out. And this is where I think authenticity comes in. You're suffering and suffering. Bro, I'm suffering. Can you help me out? I don't know where to go. I think that's the way to start, because that's where I think awareness begins. I'm aware now.
True.
Time to move.
So they need support group. So it will be helpful.
Yes.
So are you aware of any technology or support group system that it can play a role for this group of people?
So one of the things that we do at the LOA Centre is in 2018 we we are doing corporate works, and then we said how we are going to actually reach out to mass public out there who can't afford corporate programs. So that's when we launched a free app called the Reset app, and it talks about growth mindset. And you can actually express it out without being commented, because you know how social medias work. Social medias work such that the moment you comment, there's keyboard warriors say something else. Totally, they're not responsible for what they said, but the response or the reaction of that person who received it can be until suicidal, many cases. So over here, that is taken care. No, and we have also added many features like you can put what you want, which is on growth mindset. It works on growth mindset, celebrating your gratitude, and also expressing without being judged. 3 important things, totally free. Now over here, we have also just recently we have added something which is very important, which is called Connect. Because few years ago we were invited by the Jabatan Pembangunan Wanita to put SOS button. So you can hit the SOS button and get help. But there are also a group of people, they're not just wanting to dial and to be sent somewhere for medication or what, they just want to talk.
Yeah.
So we created another system called Connect, where the group of enhancers that consists of counselors, coaches, therapists who will be in, and then now there's few and more coming in. We're engaging with them because we realized that in Malaysia there's around 9,000 plus counselors. Only 4% around there is being employed by MOH, and the rest are basically in schools or doing part-time, services, this and that. I believe counselors are someone that we need for someone to not to fix them, but at least lend them a ear to hear them out. Let them express it out. I have experienced situations where when I'm sitting with my clients, sometimes it's just the person is just expressing. Next thing they find a solution. And the solution did come from me. I think it only came because the space was created. So yes, the app is there. It's free. We can leave the link down there for them to use. And if they're going to use the Connect service, that is on token base. It's if you want to talk to someone for an hour, someone who's credible. Only credible people are being put there, because once someone applies to be an enhancer, our team actually vets it through to see whether they are reliable. Counselors will be looking for the counselor certification form also. So with that, they can actually get some help in a very affordable way.
So those who want to know this, they just go to Google Play, type Reset app,
and
then it will appear and they can explore.
Red logo will come with Reset. They can look at that, and we can also leave a link down here for people to go and explore. That is one way we can help. So we saved quite around 3 people from committing suicide, and that's a good feeling in the sense. If we can help 3, there's more which we don't know that we help, and many have come and said the life is better. So that could be a way for them to rewire themselves towards going into financial freedom or whatever they want to do. So there is a way of doing it, Doctor.
I think one way to help a person, let's say a person going through this stress or anxiety because of economic situation, one reason a person is stressed can be because of overexposure to the media, to the content. So we are constantly connected to social media. So the constant barrage of information, ringgit is down, economy is down, so the constant of negativity there. So we all know, not all news are accurate. Some are, some are not. So I think the first step, if someone is going through that stress, the anxiety, the fear, ringgit is going down, money is bad, economy is bad, detox yourself from communication for a moment. Use communication just for important reasons. Make a call, research, study, do stuff. Disconnect from sources.
Nice.
Information. So once you disconnect, it gives your body time and mind time to wind down. So how long does it take? It varies from person to person. So I think 1 week is a good detox time. But that does not mean you cannot use your phone, you cannot use your technology. You need to use technology for good reasons. So you remove yourself from triggers of that can cause you stress. So for example, if you know that place is a tiger, you won't intentionally go keep exposing yourself to tiger. So treat this situation as a tiger. So you remove from that. Number 2, how I see is that a situation you can control? Is it within your control? If it's not within your control, what can you do about it? You can't do anything. It's not within your control. No matter what you do, it's not within your control. So why worry? if you think you can do something and whatever you do can make a difference in that environment, then why you worry? You still can do something. So in order, there's nothing for you to worry. If you think economic crisis out there is big thing, you are just one single person. So whatever you do will not make a big difference or impact. So why you worry? Worry what you can worry, which is your family, your life, your job, your health, your hobbies, what you like, what you don't like. Pay attention to that. Let the economy takes its course. It's know how to correct itself. It's auto correct, auto repair, whatever you can do. You can do whatever you can do. There are intelligent people to take care of that. We take care what we can take care of. So the hence where you came from, minimize your expenditure, prune here, prune that, talk to people. So take care what you can take care, take control of what you can take control.
Yeah.
So forget about how economy is doing, who is not doing, ministers not doing, that minister, this politician. Those are not within your control. So forget about that. Leave that to the experts. So we take care what we can take care. I think the first thing to take care is our state of self-awareness.
True.
All right, to be aware, okay, this is where I am, this is what I have, this is situation is. All right, how can I change to make things better? If you need to take difficult steps, then you need to do it collectively as a family. You need to sit down with your children, with family members. Okay, this is the thing happening. This is my limitation. A conversation with them at an emotional level needs to happen. Sometimes intellectual conversation needs to happen, but both emotionally, intellectual level needs to happen, so that everyone is roped in to chip in, to get some help. So everyone feels, okay, this is what we need to do. Why is this important? It's important for the future generation, for the kids, to know that, all right, during this time, these are the things we need to do. So it prepares them for future scenarios. So they learn, all right, my parents went through this situation. So during this situation, these are the things we need to do. So indirectly, they learn good things. So I think that is important. That creates a positive subconscious process. So by doing this, a person actually detox himself or herself of negativity in the subconscious process. And of course, things like mindfulness, meditation helps to reduce stress. So I think it's a thing that person needs to spend time for himself or herself. If you don't spend for you, who else going to spend for you?
Exactly.
You need to sit down and detox yourself so that you can face the challenges. Face it, the world is full of thorns. So you just have to walk through the path so that you don't step on the thorns. So in order not to step on the thorns, you have to be very conscious where you're putting your foot. You can't just aimlessly run. You can't aimlessly walk. You need to know where you're walking, where you're running, so that you don't get pricked. And if you get pricked, what do? You don't start complaining the thorns are there. Thorns were there. You didn't realize it. So never mind. So what can I do now? So I think self-awareness is important. Yeah.
Brilliant. So it's being aware of where we are, and once we know where we are, taking whatever steps. One of it is what you said is associate yourself with good people so that you can actually express it out. Because rather than keeping it inside, so it's good to share people. So it doesn't mean you're weak if you share.
Yeah.
I just pick the right people to share. I think that's the most important thing. I want to ask you a question, Doctor. So you said, if there's a tiger, you definitely won't go to a place where there's a tiger and build that memory, that fear more and more again, right? I totally agree. How do you make the tiger to go smaller?
How do you make the tiger go smaller? Meaning that, how do you make the anxiety and fear go smaller?
Yes.
The way I see this, we have been programmed or conditioned to do something to make things better, cause and effect. If you do this is the effect. So in order for the anxiety or fear or stress, the tiger to go smaller, we have to do something so that it becomes smaller. So that's the program.
Yep.
Then it becomes a very stressful thing because you have to do something. And then in order to do something, you'll be looking for the results. So indirectly, we are programming ourselves to look for the results. And we'll never be happy because we'll never know the results. So it's a never-ending vicious cycle. And that itself creates stress. So trying to solve the problem itself creates a stress. So my suggestion would be, why bother working on the stress or anxiety to become smaller? Why not deviate yourself or distract yourself to something more positive. Just like what you said, studies say, gardening, distraction. So when you focus on a flow state on something more positive, indirectly you are separating, detaching yourself from that stress and trigger, and it's not part of you. Is it gone? No, it's there in the environment. Will we be exposed to it? Yes. There are moments when we'll be exposed to it. Moments the body will flare up those stress response, which is normal, natural. But at the same time, you already know I can detach from that environment. So that allows you to not be in a war mode all the time. So it's natural. A human body can survive that war mode temporary period, but not constantly. So instead of aiming to reduce stress, aiming to eliminate stress, eliminate anxiety, which is what people tell us to do, which can be difficult because you're looking for outcome. So why not move towards another approach, which is I distract myself into positivity. So by engaging to the app, having the app as a partner to be more, so that you're more self-aware of yourself, or getting involved in community work, talking to people. So in that way, indirectly, your body or mind, the hormone system, dopamine comes in because you are channeling energy towards
Lovely.
something more positive. Because we all know attention, where attention goes, energy goes. So if your attention goes towards fear and stress, then energy goes there. And that's what you get. So if you're trying to reduce stress and anxiety, so your attention needs to be on stress and anxiety, then your energy is going there, then it's a vicious cycle. So why you want to go down that rabbit hole? Why not the other way around? Focus on positivity, pay attention on that, and positivity comes to you.
That's amazing. So whatever you give attention, energy and focus, you get more of, right? So I want to reduce anxiety. I want to reduce anxiety. I want to reduce anxiety. So we're giving anxiety. So what you're saying is that, why don't I look for, I want to do gardening. Let me do gardening. Let me do gardening. Let me go cycling. Let me go and talk to good people. Let me go and do this. So which is more soothing. And slowly but surely, this thing, when it's not being attended, it'll start dissolving. Like what you said, it'll still be there.
It'll still be there.
But you don't have to engage it.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And stress is something which is designed, actually it's a good thing. Because otherwise we might just do some nonsense and we might kill ourselves.
The way I see it, when the stress comes, handle it. When it's not there, move away. But when it comes there, you have to handle it. So you have to handle it in a frame of mind where, all right, what can I do? Okay, it's now here. It's here. All right, it's here now. I can't cheat myself. So what can you do? So someone might ask me, okay, now I've lost my job. I have nothing. So what positivity can I pay attention to? It's tough, but you have children, you have kids, you have wife, you have husband, family with you. So that's a positive thing to look for. You're not alone in the battle. So your worries, your fear needs to be told to them, expressed to them, so that they can, all right, let's do this together, instead of you doing this by yourself. But like I said, what if the person takes a step back and say, okay, fine, situation is bad. What opportunity can I build from this? Rather than thinking things are bad, how bad things are going to be now. I think most of us are programmed by our environment. Now things are bad, things are going to become worse. And they tell us this bad news. So I think as a society, what we can do for others is just like what you said just now, give them a lending hand, opportunity. All right, now you're in a bad place. What opportunity can I give you? But that does not mean you have to keep giving opportunities. A person has to also learn how to
be resilient,
catch his own fish.
True. So it's true that when someone is like, they don't have enough money to pay for whatever, the bank is calling them so many times, and you have to pay. So I think in the past, people will be very compulsive. I think most of us are. When that thing comes, tiger pops up. And because we always keep away from tiger, tiger comes. So anxiety comes. So what we can do is that to start programming into the other areas. Yes, now I have to make, that is a fact, I have to make the payment. So there are ways to find solution, and knowing that having that awareness itself that I have to make this payment and it's important for my family itself is a good thing. It's not a bad thing to find a solution. So first we need to be aware to course correct.
Correct.
And the course correction should be something constructive rather than destructive. You can either go and take money from Along and get trapped, or you can also find other ways which is not Along way. So that you'll find an easier path. So for that, we need to give it some time to think and to come up with the right kind of response. Because most of the time, I think we are all reacting to things. Oh my God, I think the tiger is getting bigger, the anxiety is getting bigger and bigger. So if we can have the support group, if we can have conversation, because I still remember there was once when I was doing some, and then there's a letter from SDN came. At that time, I didn't have any accountant, this and that. I was freaking out because I don't know what to do, because it's a big tiger, because I don't know. And then I called my friend who's been taking care of our accounts for the longest time now, and he says, "Oh, no problem, small matter." And immediately it went, tiger disappeared.
Good.
And then and then he did everything and everything went on well. We were complying, but we didn't know what to give for the compliance. I think that's what is happening. So I believe one of the things I always say, we need to build a fortress of people around us. A good lawyer friend, a good banker friend, good doctor, who else? Good people who can really, you can one call, they'll be able to guide you, not come and give you money, but what they can do is basically, hey, go there, air traffic controller, free, that's it.
True.
That is something, it's awesome.
True. So let's wrap it up. How, in your opinion, what are the key points one should do?
I think the first one is being aware. That's similar to reset concept. The moment when you are compulsive, you tend to do a lot of mistakes. I think the first thing is you need to catch yourself. I am compulsive. Oh, finance is bad. I'm aware. After that only I can make the right kind of choice. I can ask myself this question. So what do I want now? I want to ask for help. I want to make this call. I want to, rather than, oh my God, life sucks. I'm gone. My family's gone. So I think being aware is a key thing here. Then the next one is, I think, getting the right kind of information and then getting into action.
For me, I think, that's important. That's that conscious level. For me, a person can actually need to learn how to slow down the body, slow down the mind, slow down the chemicals in the body. Stress is bad. Stress affects the heart, the brain, every level, body itself. Yes, situation is bad outside. A person has lost a job, person has lost money, person needs to do something. All right, you're doing something about it, fine. What are you doing for yourself? So spend time for that. What are you doing for yourself? Because if you don't take care of yourself, how are you going to take care of others? So how are you going to take care of yourself? Give it a try. Sit down quietly. Don't move anywhere. Let the body and mind take a sit back. So you can call it mindfulness, you can call it meditation, you can call it sitting down quietly, whatever you can call it, doesn't matter. Basically giving your mind and body a break from that routine cycle of stress and anxiety. So removing yourself from that source gives you a temporary refuge that, so that you can go back to that war. So that's important, instead of constantly being in that war zone.
True.
So
is there any this one you can give? Like
quick.
What can they do?
I think social media or even YouTube, there's a lot of guided meditation audios. Listening to that and just sitting quietly, exploring what is mindfulness, exploring what's meditation, exploring what's self-awareness. It's a good step for us beginning, because that allows exploring this positivity, removes you from the stress, anxiety component. So even that itself is a healing method. You don't have to think about financial situation all the time.
It gets bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
So thank you for your insights. Thank you for your points. Hope
Thanks, Doctor.
someone will be benefiting out of this.
And if they like to this, they can hit the
Like, share, and subscribe.
yeah.